Hey yo guys, time for me to give you my WWE Cyber Sunday pay-per-view review and my UFC 90 pay-per-view review. I've contemplated about giving my thoughts on the Gabe Sapolsky firing from Ring of Honor in this video, but I decided, you know what, I'll save that for a separate video. It may have to blend into a video I plan on doing later this week, but we'll just see. I just want to, give my reviews and thoughts here on these two pay-per-views over the past weekend, as, it was a pretty big weekend here in combat sports, so let's just get to it. So we'll review the pay-per-view which took place last night from the U.S. Air Arenas in Phoenix, Arizona, which was WWE Cyber Sunday. Overall, this was a good pay-per-view, and a pay-per-view, that doesn't get a good buy rate, and especially with the build going here, I think, that's going to affect the buy rate here especially, but overall it was a strong show. It wasn't as good as the last month's pay-per-view, but still a strong show. Basically, we kicked things off with the WWE preview match on WWE.com, which was Shelton Benjamin defending the United States Championship up against the three choices of R-Truth, MVP, and Festus. I picked Festus to win just... I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what I was thinking there, but R-Truth won. He got 59%. It was a basic landslide victory there. Really, I thought, the match was okay. I thought, Shelton and Killings' time was off a bit. They missed some spots, like Shelton completely, I guess, was looking the wrong way or didn't expect the spinning flying forearm from Truth at him. But really, this was kind of a waste for what they've been kind of building up on SmackDown, a 4-minute match. I did like the finish where you had Truth set up Shelton and had crouched over and looked like R-Truth was going to hit the axe kick, but Shelton came out of nowhere and hit pay dirt and got the victory. I just felt it was a big waste to have, this. Hopefully they don't even mention this on the pay-per-view or on SmackDown coming week, but they probably will, but... Anyways, it was an okay match. I still feel they still need to work the kinks out of their, their timing. They messed some spots up timing-wise, but, they did come back and deliver, a somewhat decent match as opposed to the Intercontinental title match on this pay-per-view. But anyways, then the pay-per-view officially kicked off with, a video package that I pretty much did like with, the WWE playing a celebrity thing saying don't vote. I thought it was funny. Gotta say the set here looked pretty cool. I like the cell phone look. But anyways, let's get to the matches here. We started with Rey Mysterio versus Kane, and it was either you got to pick the match of no holds barred, falls count anywhere, or 2 out of 3 falls, and no holds barred won with 39% as opposed to falls count anywhere, which had 35, and 2 out of 3 falls at 26%. So if anyone has any doubts about this pay-per-view being rigged on votes, yeah, everything that got third place should not have got that much percentage. Who the fuck wanted to see this thing go 2 out of 3 falls? Can you seriously, did you want to see Rey Mysterio and Kane put on a 2 out of 3 falls match? Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that. But anyways, this match was these guys can put on a good match, but I think the stipulation here hurt it, and they didn't even use the plunder here. I thought they tried to go have their typical little big man little match there, which works, but then they had to incorporate the weapons, and they didn't even bother with that, and he basically just went with Kane beating down Rey, and Kane then Kane basically then getting the defeat when Rey makes the comeback and gets the 619 and the springboard splash off the top off the rope there. So it was a disappointing match as opposed to what these guys have put on it recently, but still, as I said, it was just disappointing there. Then we went on to the ECW Championship match, as Matt Hardy got to take on either Mark Henry, Finlay, or Evan Bourne, and Evan Bourne was the choice, and thank the Lord it was Evan Bourne, because, Finlay would have been Henry, they would have been okay, but still, I think we're going to eventually see another Matt Hardy versus Mark Henry match. So, nice that we got this match down the line. The crowd was definitely fazed by this because they didn't know, how to really react, because Matt Hardy was playing the babyface still, and Evan Bourne was playing the babyface here as well. Didn't know really how to react there, but still, this was a good match. Let me just say something right here. Matt is, you know, a great guy to have on ECW. He is maybe more important to have on ECW than Finlay because he's showing the young guys the ropes here, and, you know, he's not being a dick champion who, you know, can play politics or anything like. He's just like, nah, I'll help other guys look good. He's in it with Mark Henry, and he especially did it in this match with Evan Bourne. I mean, he helped, you know, sell. He was selling for Bourne extremely well. Hell, I mean, when the finish after Bourne missed at Airborne and, you know, Hardy looked like he was going to get the twist of fate, he let Bourne counter into a backslide, or they booked it so, you know, Bourne looks extremely more credible where he got counters into a backslide, and then, you know, Hardy eventually then gets the twist of fate. So, you know, I mean, Hardy helped make Evan Bourne look extremely well here. I would say he put him over to even more than what he was, so that's going to cement Bourne as a big player in WWE. I don't know where they can go from here. It looks like they've killed the Ray Kane feud off, so hopefully now we can get, you know, Ray and Evan Bourne as a tag team, because they were fucking gold a couple weeks ago on Raw, so hopefully they go with that. But this match was good. I mean, it was what we expected it to be, you know, just a good, solid match. And, you know, we really needed it with some of the stuff on this show, mainly your Intercontinental title match. I still have to go back and say that was just awful. And, you know, how lackluster your U.S. title match was. I mean, the chemistry there and everything. But this was just a good, solid match. Then we went on to the, where you got to choose the tag match, which was either Mickie James and Jamie Noble versus Layla and William Regal, Cryme Tyme and versus The Miz and Morrison, or the World Tag Team Champions of Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase versus CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. Not surprisingly, really, they took Morrison versus Cryme Tyme, as, you know, they've been building it up, their feud that's taking place on WWE.com, and, you know, both guys are over, and they're also trying to help build up Miz and Morrison for Degeneration X for, like, the 80th time reunion. But really, kind of sad that, you know, Punk doesn't get on pay-per-view. I mean, Regal and Noble tag match had no chance, really, with no build whatsoever. But anyways, you know, this one, as opposed to these guys actually had a tag match on pay-per-view, much better. I thought the last time they had a tag match, which I believe in Unforgiven, they just dragged the heat on JTG just way too long. I mean, it was just unbearable. It's like, come on, get the hot tag. This is taking for freaking ever. But no, they actually had a nice dosage of, you know, getting the heat on JTG, or it's just nice dosages there. Not too long, and not nice dosages, and everyone, you know, got their fair share. My only complaint, I guess, for this match would be, if I have to have a complaint, is that, you know, they pinned Shad, but I guess the way they built to it, where Shad, you know, got his knee taken out, and then eventually Morrison hit the Moonlight Drive to get the win, you know, it was just a nice little basic tag match, but you know what, as opposed to their last match, much better. Then we went to the Intercontinental title match, which was Santino Marella versus your choices of Rowdy Roddy Piper, Goldust, or the Honky Tonk Man. Surprisingly, everyone was there, which, you know, is a shock, as I thought, you know, one of them would have been Charlie Haas. They chose Honky. Honky came out, cut a nice little promo. I mean, him and Santino had a nice little interaction where Honky did his dance and then Santino did it right back, and, you know, kind of did some hand gesture type dance move, which, you know, doesn't fly at all. And then he gave Honky a right hand, and that started the match. Things went underway, and I knew this really they wouldn't have had really a match, since Honky has a severe finger injury. He even worked the independent show last night, the night before the show, and his finger was severely bandaged. I guess the E didn't want to have anything bandaged to have any suspicion on that, but they worked the match. It was like just going along. I mean, there was tosses into the ropes, and Beth Phoenix trips up Honky into a disqualification. No, I don't even think that's ever been a disqualification in the history of professional wrestling. I do not think, up until that point, a referee had ever seen that and, hey, I'm gonna throw and ring the bell there. I don't think that's ever happened. I didn't like that at all. And then what happened, you know, was whatever. We had Piper come out, who, you know, for a guy with cancer, looking not bad. You know, the guys with cancer normally look extremely old and he had the raggedy face, but hey, he's still, you know, battling, and he's wearing the black shirt at least. But Goldust, holy fuck, man, you are like 369 pounds. Like, could we at least hit the gym before we come back for appearances? May God help us all. We're probably going to see a lot more of Goldust, as he is about to or has already signed a Legends deal, so I don't know where we're going to go from there. And hit the shake, rattle, and roll, and everyone, was, they all gave the raised Honky's hands, which was weird because I know Piper and Honky have major heat, so I don't know where we're going to go from there. And, that was just a bad match. But anyways, let's move on. Let's get that bad match out of the way. We went to, in my opinion, match of the night here. We went Undertaker versus Big Show, and where you got to choose, either a knockout match, false anywhere, or I quit. They chose false count anywhere, which Vickie Guerrero, by the way, fucked up and thought it was knockout match or I quit match. I believe she said it was I quit match, and I don't know where she learned her math degree, or clearly wasn't paying attention or didn't care. When you came back to the camera, she was kind of set a smirk on her face that she botched, so I'll give her credit for realizing that, but still, that's definitely going to Botchamania. This was a good match. I really liked how long, they drag this thing out. Normally when you drag a match like this magnitude, the crowd has to be into it, and, you really need to be into it to enjoy it. I enjoyed this thing. The long-standing 9 counts, the bumps, and I like how Big Show and Undertaker have put this thing together here where, Taker's actually letting Big Show beat on him, because Big Show's the only guy who could probably beat on Taker, and it's very credible. That's why I think these guys are having the good matches as of late, as, Taker's letting Show beat on him and adding the realism there. There was some sick stuff in this match. I know Taker got chokeslammed through both the SmackDown and ECW announcers table. There was a sweet spot in this match where Show was going for the chokeslam, but Taker DDT'd him. He did this at the last paper, but still, that's impressive to do on Big Show. And Big Show sold this thing like Rob Van Dam. He went right on his head. And then the finish came. It looked like Show was about to knock down Taker, but Taker got him in a go-go plata. Show was tapping, but since, this wasn't a submission match or a normal match or anything like that, taps don't matter, and he just knocked him out. So that was awesomely, surprisingly that good. Really enjoyed this match. Then we had the Diva contest, and Mickie James won as Tomb Raider, enough said, in the tamest Halloween costume ever. Then we went to the WWE Championship match, which was Triple H versus Jeff Hardy, after you could have chose between Triple H versus Jeff Hardy, Triple H versus Kozlov, or the Triple Threat. 5% of the vote for Kozlov. Really, they're clearly waiting to save, and I think they all knew that it would be Triple H versus Hardy. This match was up to par with their last one, but it wasn't as good, if you understand what I'm saying there. I just wasn't into it in the same problem, because, they didn't really build it up to the point where Hardy was going to get the belt. I think, the finish to the last match they had, kind of took out the believability and helping of, Triple H kind of owning, Kozlov and Triple H owning a Hardy the past couple weeks on SmackDown, having that out, but this match just missed an element. I don't know what that element was, but I think the fans weren't into it as much. The crowd was hot all night, but they weren't really into this match as they were at the last show, which, didn't help. And you had Triple H get the win off of Pedigree, which, was assisted with the top ropes, which actually looked pretty nice. But, hey, you had Hardy go with the double swantons, and you can still play off the fact that, he's always ridiculous. He could have pinned him or whatever, and that's how they can twist that into the storylines, but whatever. And then we went to the main event, which was Chris Jericho versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship, where you got to pick between the referees of Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold Steve Austin just, ran away with the vote. I still wonder if they kind of tampered with it, because there's no way Michaels should have got 20% of the vote when, he's a big part of this storyline. But anyways, this match was good. Jericho still played, a strong heel, but I like that this one had psychology, just like their match on Raw back in, I believe, early July, late June, where, same type of story with Jericho working on the knee so he could put on the walls of Jericho. And these guys just really worked well. I think Jericho and Batista have some very strong chemistry here, which is good. Eventually, then later on in the match, it looked like Batista was going for a spear. He knocks Austin down. You have Jericho get code breaker. Michaels then comes in and then, does his best Rock special guest referee imitation, where he doesn't want to count the fall. He counts super slow. Then you have JBL come out, knock Michaels, which brings Randy Orton to come in after he takes out Austin again. It just was on. Really, normally when you have overbooking like that, it definitely takes away from it. I like this. I thought, everyone got a chance to be in there, and, there was some valid reason, especially Michaels. I think Michaels' run-in really was, the best run-ins there, and it worked very well there. And then, you had Jericho and Austin bicker, and, Austin go for the stunner. Push, gets out of it, but turns around to a spine buster, Batista bomb. Batista, the new World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know where we go from here. I know they've been planning to build up another triple threat at Armageddon, but we still have a pay-per-view in between. We still got Survivor Series, so I don't know where they're going to go with the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe a rematch, but do we really want to see another, a rematch there? I think the triple threat's exciting, but I don't see anyone taking the belt off Batista up until WrestleMania, when you probably do your Cena-Batista rematch, but... yeah, other than that, this was a good pay-per-view. Thumbs up. Check it out on DVD. I don't know if you want to spend the replay, with the economy how it is, but definitely when the DVD comes out, we'll get Cyber Sunday. Anyways, then we move over to UFC 90, which, the old UFC made their debut into the state of Illinois, and they did a pretty good show overall. One of pay-per-views. To me, this is a top contender pay-per-view of the year for the UFC or mixed martial arts. I just felt everything on this show was, good. The main event, it was a Mitch Fortune with Cote's knee popping out, but I would say the main event didn't really have anything to it. I mean, it was just surprising to see, Silva not, maybe take this as seriously as, he should have, but I don't know what happened there. But anyways, let's run through the card here. Started off with Sherk versus Tyson Griffen in the lightweight bout. This was a good bout, an even earned fight of the night, and I would have to agree with that. I mean, both guys, and this fight went exactly how I said it would be. Both guys are very good wrestlers, so they didn't want to go for any takedowns. I mean, Sherk had two strong takedowns at the in the first round there, but still, they mainly were throwing bombs, throwing the punches. Went out exactly how I said it would go. But yeah, it was a good fight. I really enjoyed this. I felt, the first and third rounds, Sherk had the better, striking there, and eventually got him the round. But I think Griffen had the more, powerful punches, and as you could see by Sherk's face. But Sherk definitely deserved the win, especially with how, he may have had he had the better striking in 2 of the 3 rounds, and he had a nice couple takedowns. So, good fight. I mean, Griffen has nothing to be ashamed of in a loss like there. Griffen, it just proves that, the lightweight division, there's only 2 guys really in it, and that's BJ Penn and Sherk, and Sherk is building for a title rematch, and why shouldn't you give it to him? He looked very impressive here tonight. Then we went on to the next bout, which was a heavyweight bout between Fabricio Werdum and Junior Dos Santos, and really, people are saying, I don't know what I'm talking about because Fabricio Werdum got knocked out. Excuse me, have we ever heard of a fucking upset here? Goddamn, you got people like Armin who think they know more than me because they saw Fabricio Werdum get knocked out and I called it. I mean, goddamn, this little ring rat of a YouTuber, you can just shut the fuck up and no one even cares what he has to say. So, anyways, on to this fight. Really, this was basically Dos Santos knocking the fuck out of Fabricio Werdum. I would have to say what contributed to this, Verdum's, Dos Santos' striking was just, fantastic here, as the knockout goes to show. But I guess Werdum thought, he was worthy to be in the Big 4 mini tournament for the heavyweight belt, overlooks Dos Santos, and he gets caught in an upset. Big theme happening right now with MMA. You can't look over opponent, whether it's in the octagon, a cage, or a ring. Never underestimate your opponent, as this will happen, and this is exactly what happened to Fabricio Werdum. Look for big things for Junior Dos Santos here in the UFC. With that striking, man, he's going to be a big threat there. I don't know about his takedowns. I mean, no one knew who he was, but he's now, a legit contender for a UFC heavyweight title match down the road. He definitely needs a couple more fights, at least 4 more fights under his belt, but still looking strong there. Then we went to the next bout, which, some would say was a boring fight. It was Rich Clemente versus Gray Maynard. I didn't think it was that boring, but it was good wrestling and all. I mean, yeah, you couldn't get into it, but I think the fans more shit on this because they'd seen a lot of decision fights on the card, on the undercard. Like, I think there had 5 fights on the undercard, and, you know, about 3 of them went to decision. So, I mean, they kind of got tired of seeing that, and, you know, Gray Maynard just absolutely out-wrestled Rich Clemente here. The only thing really of note about this whole fight was how incompetent that referee was. When Gray Maynard's, you know, working to get better positioning in on Clemente, he's telling guys they gotta start working. I'm sorry, were you watching the same fight I was? I mean, you had better view of the fight than I did. You were in the fucking cage, and you clearly didn't see they were, you know, Gray was working for better position there on Clemente. Get your eyes checked. You even had fucking glasses. Get a new prescription. May God help you. Or, you know, get out of the company or get out of MMA. You don't deserve to ref ever again. You're atrocious. And, you know, this fight was a good example of wrestling. I wouldn't say it was a good example as, you know, at UFC 87 between Jason McDonald and Damian Maia. God damn, that was pure wrestling 101. But still, this had, you know, good wrestling, and just goes to show how big of a threat Gray Maynard is when he goes on the ground. So, and he's got the striking to back it up. So look for big things for Gray Maynard. Then we go to another strong fight, which was a welterweight bout. Josh Koscheck and Thiago Alves. Really fun fight here. This is a close contender for Fight of the Night as well, but I felt Sherk and Griffen also edged this, but this was a good fight. I mean, it looked like Thiago almost ended Koscheck pretty early, but give Koscheck credit. He recovered and was able to, you know, come back with some nice strikes of his own. But I just feel the story of this fight was the from Alves. I mean, he kept dominating with the leg kicks, and, you know, he set up some good shots that rocked Koscheck to the point where a couple times in the fight, it almost ended Koscheck there. Really good fight here. Only unfortunate thing was in the 3rd round, you know, both guys accidentally poked each other in the eyes. Really good fight. I guess one thing that was also very surprising, I said in the prediction video, I thought at least Koscheck would be able to take Thiago down. An amazing takedown defense, and that's going to be a big, serious trouble for George St. Pierre when, you know, down the line after his fight with Penn, he's probably going to have to take on Thiago Alves, and I don't see Alves being able to go, or St. Pierre being able to take down Alves, and we could have a new welterweight champion here. I don't know, but the way Thiago was able to stuff those takedowns and stuff Matt Hughes takedowns at UFC 85, Thiago's be a big contender for that welterweight strap. And Koscheck also is, you know, against Yoshida, I believe, Yoshida, or what I think, yeah, Yoshida, on the Fight Night card in December. He still deserves to be in the main event there. It's gonna be a good fight there either way. Really big things out of Koscheck here. I think Koscheck should earn respect with the fans here. And then we went to the main event, which was Anderson Silva versus Patrick the Predator Cote. Really weird fight here, as, you know, I think this fight, you know, even though not much happened, this fight to me showed that Cote was completely out of his weight as you know, league here. I mean, even the little bits that Silva did, he made Cote look like a little bitch. He looked like he was a kindergartner trying to go into the 12th grade biology class. Like, God, man. But really, I don't know what was up with Silva tonight. I mean, that night, he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't, you know, going for the kill, which he normally was, and I think that threw the fans off, and that's why that led to the booing. Also, the finish to the fight with Cote's knee coming out, which was unfortunate, but, you know, it was a previous injury, and he's apparently out 6 to 8 months, so it looks like there's not going to be a rematch for quite some time, and, you know, they may even have up to 205 officially, because I think the big money fights are there for him, and, you know, it's just more interesting to see how he can handle with the light heavyweight guys instead of the middleweight guys, since he's just run through that field. I don't even think his fight with Yushin Okami is going to be even, you know, worth anything, but overall, you know, it was a disappointing finish, but, you know, I'd say there is probably a rematch due, but I don't see it for a very long time. The knee, but overall, this was a good show overall. I'd say this is, to me, like a top UFC pay-per-view. I mean, it was definitely worth it. The crowd was good, even though they booed some of the stuff, but maybe it's also a learning experience. I mean, this was the first time in Illinois, but overall, 2 good pay-per-views in one weekend. That's a big rarity here, and yeah, I really enjoyed it for both shows, so thumbs up to both. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.